I am trading with $300,000 in trading capital, but it wasn't always that way. In this video, I'm breaking down my journey and how long it took to grow my capital, the shifts that I had to make along the way, and how that snowball effect changed everything. All right, let's get into it. So, starting my account with $5,000. I was working 2 jobs, at some point 3 jobs, and still trying to make trading work. It was a smaller amount of capital, so the compounding effect, I didn't get to reap any of those benefits yet. I was still just trying to find profitability and consistency. I had to slow progress, it felt like no progress, to get that 5 account to 20,000. I was hopping around, moving from Jacksonville to San Diego to Tennessee, and the time frame that I was trading was the 5-minute time frame, and I was still new to futures. So I had previous experience trading stocks, but trading futures was a completely new realm for me, or a new market. So I was experimenting with everything. I was trading platinum, gold, silver, the NQ, the YM, crude oil, and I believe I kept it at those 5. So when trading that smaller capital, I had a tough mindset. When you have that slow progress, slow to no progress, it feels like the light at the end of the tunnel is 100 years away. And you're like, I don't know if this is gonna work. This is a struggle to just maintain profitability and to like keep it up and to continue to grow. And then seeing it not go anywhere and taking a loss and then wiping out all the profits for the month and then having to start over. It was a mental battle with the small capital. I remember one specific trade. I was in San Diego with my mom. She was here for a work conference, so I stayed with her in her hotel, and I remember it was when we really got into the British baking show and we binge watched it. But I remember being in a platinum trade back then and having a record trade of like $1,000. All right, guys, I finally closed my trade. Wow. And I was blown away. That was my first $1,000. That was me seeing $1,000 made overnight, and I'm like, okay, I can really see the potential now. That was an absolute level up of mindset. It opened like the doors. I feel like it took the ceiling off, and I was like, okay, this is real. I can actually do this. The years that I spent trading with the smaller capital was the most crucial years in trading. You develop discipline, you develop consistency, you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. The progress is incredibly, excruciatingly slow, but those are the most crucial years. That's how you go from either profitable to non-profitable, or you simply just give up on trading in those years. And that's where people stop. So if you can just work through it and push through it, grind, get that grit, make sure that you're working through the strategy, you're staying disciplined, that's how you level up. Next phase, phase 2, is finally building up that capital to become a full-time trader. Now, how much it requires for you specifically could be very different, but this is my journey, my story. So I felt like $20,000 to $25,000 of capital was enough to make that transition to full-time trader. But now guess what? I was presented with very different struggles than the grind trying to find consistency and profitability, the new struggles of being a full-time trader. There was so much pressure on every single trade. It had to be the one. You had to make it work. There were no other options. There's no plan B. You've got this scarcity mindset, completely different struggles from phase 1 to phase 2. Pressure on every single trade, still doubting yourself. What if I don't make it and I have to go back to a 9 to 5? I gotta go back to a job. I don't wanna do that. At any cost, I'll do whatever it takes to make this work. So scarcity was more the mindset coming into phase 2. But the first thing that I want to talk about that helped me with my capital and helped me continue to push through as a full-time trader, I am an entrepreneur. So yes, there was still so much pressure on my trades because that was my highest source of income, but I was still doing stuff on the side. I was marketing, I was doing web design, but I had multiple sources of income. But I think that's really what helped me kind of start to alleviate the pressure, is having other sources of income. Now, they weren't huge and they weren't very much, and they didn't make me anywhere near as much as trading could, but it still helped me alleviate that pressure. Whereas if you had nothing additional and you were just a full-time trader, I might not have made it. I probably would have broke or cracked under the pressure of having to make every trade pay my rent, every single trade pay my car payment. With any sort of buffer, that's going to remove the pressure. Having any sort of side gig, any sort of additional income is going to help remove that pressure. And then the third thing that I think helped me was support. I had a supportive family, and I was in a supportive relationship as well during the time. So I felt like and we'll get a little bit vulnerable with you guys. So I was in a relationship where, in my mind, the person that I was with was way out of my league. And that made me feel like I had to step it up. I had to work harder. I had to do better. I had to make it. So it really just motivated me in a healthy way to make this work. And they were very encouraging and supportive, even though they didn't know anything about trading. They had the vision. They were like, I know you, you're gonna make it. You're gonna be successful. And my family as well. I've got my uncle telling me since day one, you're gonna be a better trader than I was. So I had the support, and I think that's another reason why I stuck through and made it to where I am now. Now, phase 3. Buckle up, baby, because phase 3 is the coolest. It is this crazy snowball effect. You are on a ride. You are on a high. Like, things just work. You're growing. Your capital's growing. It feels easier. Things are clicking. And you reach these levels that you never even thought were possible. And it's the coolest part. So level 3 is just, it truly is like the pinnacle of like the snowball effect. Everything just happens so much faster and so much bigger. I think it was my first $10,000 trade where I thought, damn, 10 G's, baby, $10,000 in a singular trade. This was far into like my documenting, so that video is around somewhere. That trade breakdown is around somewhere. This is quite exciting. I can see this $10,000 trade. That was my record trade. I had a record trade. I remember being excited, talked about it on social media, but that was like, it really unlocked things. I was like, this is really cool. Like, we're doing it. We're here. But I remember still afterwards being pretty self-critical about it. Like, the trade kept going. That could have been a $20,000 to $30,000 trade, but I clipped out at 10. But I just remember that was a very important trade. I told my sisters, I told my mom. I think they were the reason why I closed it. Not you, but the other sister. So, but they were just like, they couldn't comprehend that I was up $10,000 on my phone by pressing buttons. And they were like, I would close that. I'd close that right now. And I mean, I know more than them. I know better. I'm the trader. But it just, whether I knew it consciously or unconsciously, it prompted me to close that trade. But I remember being really self-critical about it, and we were on to the next trade. Phase 3 was 2 years. It's the pinnacle, I feel like. It's the ultimate snowball effect. And this is also the pinnacle of my documentation as well. When you finally just feel like things click, it's easier. There's not so much vulnerability, even though thank gosh that I had documented the vulnerable side of it as well. But it's just so much easier when you're like, I'm making money, I got this. And the documentation is so much easier. And now I was bringing in enough streams of income to not have to pay myself from this 20K to where now I could just focus on building it. So that already changed everything for me. Now it was a game to build it, not a game to pay rent and pay car payment. So now it's just, okay, let's see how much we can build this. So I documented turning a $20,000 account into $100,000. I did that in 1 year. Then the next year, I turned $200,000, I paid myself. I remember withdrawing $50,000 for the first time. That was insane. That was my biggest withdrawal. My biggest payment to myself was $50,000, furnished my entire apartment in Nashville. I mean, and I'm talking like nice furnished. I had like modern Middleburg interior designers come in. We made sure I had a content room set up to the nines. I had a room that reminded me of my grandma's house, but also modern and new. It was the coolest experience ever. So the pinnacle was taking the $20,000 account to $100,000 and then turning the $100,000 account to $200,000. So it was happening so quick. I was doing this within a year, and I was doubling what I had done. I mean, 400% in the first year in 2023, but then in 2024 I did 180%, and now this year I'm thinking even bigger. I'm thinking truly delusional this year. Welcome to phase 4. You are now delirious. You are delusional. You are thinking goals so big that people think you're crazy, but until you make it. Then when you make it, they're just like, how the f did you do it? And you're like, I told you how I did it. Actually, I was here doing it. You just thought I was crazy. So that was my capital journey. The phase 1 of just trying to find profitability and trading with a small account. Phase 2, full-time trader, a buffer of $20,000. And then phase 3, the snowball effect, going from $20,000 to $100,000, $100,000 to $300,000. And now I guess I have made it to phase 4, which is delusional goals. I'm trading with $300,000 in trading capital now. So the biggest lesson or the biggest takeaway from all of this is it is about consistency. And that goes with anything in life. If you're trying to make it as an entrepreneur, start that business, have that ultimate gym bod, it is about consistency. Each phase brings new challenges, but it also brings opportunities to grow faster as that snowball effect takes place. So I highly recommend you guys watch this video here where I broke down my entire 2024. I made $200,000 in trading profits. I hope this story encourages you guys or motivates you guys. I hope you can find some relatability in this story. If you guys want to be a part of my community, don't forget to hit the link in the description below. We do live streams twice a day. We do daily trade ideas. I'm in there every single day. Ask me anything. I'm there. I'm going to answer. I got my phone right here, ready to check Discord as soon as it's ready. You've got my entire course. It is the most over-delivered thing I've ever offered. Truly, it is not anywhere near at the price that it should be, but we're going to leave it at that. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.